Okay, friends, family, it's Apple Joe here. I am on vacation in the Allegheny Mountains, and I want to just show you how amazing this town is. But me and the family, there's my son and my wife over there on the bench. It's the old courthouse here. I love it. Me and my family are actually getting ready to go into the Elliot Ness Museum. There's the jail over there. That's the actual county jail up here. But yeah, this is an amazing little town. And we are getting ready to go into the Elliot Ness Museum. For those of you who know Elliot Ness is, he was the one who took down Al Capone. And this town here, every July, has a festival where they have a shootout. Al Capone comes in to take over the town. There's Hotel Crichton over there. This is the town's claim to fame. Elliot Ness is to have visited here and possibly stayed here for a time. And they do a festival every year in July to celebrate the life of Elliot Ness and his great accomplishments. And over there, behind the trees, is the Elliot Museum. There's my son Luke. Say hi, Luke. There's my wife Cynthia. Say hi, Cynthia. Say hi, Cynthia. I make him crazy when I go live on TikTok. So we are right now waiting for our tour guide. Our tour guide should be here at 1 p.m. And we are getting close. You want to walk over? It's like 1:55. So once I'm inside the museum, as you can see it over there, I am going to let her do all the talking. But if you get an idea, take a look at the tops of these buildings. That building says 1880. This building says 1881. This one says 1880. So I mean, these places are pretty neat. So, but yeah, we're getting ready to head over there now. So. Once she takes us into the museum, I am going to keep my mouth shut and just let her do the tour. It looks like right now she might be finishing up with a group. There's also, believe it or not, Elliot Ness suites for rent up top. Come on, guys. Actually, apartments for rent, and they're themed apartments, which means they were named after people who played a big part in Prohibition and the end. So here it is, Elliot's Ness Museum, and we do have a 1 o'clock appointment. That must be Our Lady there, so we will be patient and pop your head in there, maybe. 1 o'clock. Just take a look at the outside here. There's the amazing old vehicles. Prohibition. Everybody knows anything about Prohibition and the July 15, 2022. There is the festival poster. It's the entire weekend, so you get to see the clothes, get to see all the cool stuff. I believe that's actually Elliot Ness right there. I said this town is set up like it's still back when it was. The old movie theater down the end of the street there. Really cool town, so. Cindy, are they waiting for us? Yeah. All right, go.
Wow. I found out we bought the property.
Hello.
He said, Bill, you can spend it all you want. And then his property manager said to me, no, there's a lease on it. Hello.
Hi.
How are you? And
How are you?
I'm assuming you're the 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your name's again?
Joseph.
Joe?
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Hello.
Joe, do you go by Joe and Cindy or Joe?
Yeah. Joe said he's fine. Sure.
What do you, I don't
Whatever you want to call us.
I'll forget in a minute. So, and what's your name? Luke. And I didn't get your kids' names. Sylvia? Sophia. I am so sorry. Shaden? Jaden. Okay, I'll just let you know, I forget my own children's names.
Good. I hope you don't mind I'm recording. Is that cool?
Oh, fine.
Yeah, awesome.
But my name is Shelley Butler, and I am a Coudersport native. I was born and raised here for the most part of my life. I moved away for about 30 years, but not far, only a half hour away, so it doesn't really count. So I came back to the area, and Steve Green, who is the president of the board that started this museum, was looking for a volunteer. I am not a huge Elliot Ness brain person. I'm learning as I go. I've only been doing this about a month with him, but I love people. And I have just recently retired from my job, And we have mutual friends, and they're like, Shelley loves to talk. She'll come down and do it. So here I am. I'm a better talker more knowledge than Elliot Ness, but I know just enough to be dangerous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit about Elliot Ness, the 3 C's, what I call the Chicago, Cleveland, Coudersport parts of Elliot's life. And I'm going to show you some of my favorite exhibits, and then I'm going to let you just meander around. Every exhibit has a write-up on it. Okay, and that are very informative. I could stand by each one and talk to you, but you're perfectly capable. Like I said, I'll be happy to answer any questions that we might have, because I have Google. No, great resources. But does everybody here, this is my first question. You all know who Elliot Ness is? Do you know who Elliot Ness is? No?
No.
Yeah?
Some do, some don't.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Elliot Ness was... how about Al Capone? We've all heard of Al Capone, right? He was one of the most famous gangsters that there was back in the 20s. And the United States went through an era where they said it's illegal to sell booze, alcohol, which was just one of the biggest failures that our government ever did, because it didn't quit the sale of alcohol. But what it did was it quit the sale of alcohol by honest and legal means. And so these gangs, Al Capone's gangs, mobsters, whatever you want to call them, they saw the biggest way to make money. They took over all these breweries and distilleries and stuff. And these poor people running them had to continue running them for the mobsters because they were afraid for their lives. And, so they made it look like they were doing non-alcoholic beverages for when, the government was looking, but truth was they were still doing this, but they were now doing it for the mobsters. And they all knew it because they were being paid off. Well, they wanted to stop this because the gangs now are fighting to be the best gang to make the best money. And Elliot Ness, that's where he comes in on the scene. He actually was like a junior person, but his integrity is what made him stand out. So he and his group would not be paid off. I mean, almost everybody else would take a bribe because they were some took the money because they knew if they didn't take the money, somebody in their family was going to get hurt, if not themselves. So they figured, what the heck, I might as well take the money, because this isn't going to end well anyway. Elliot Ness would not do that. And because of that, he was able to clean up Chicago, bring Al Capone down. Now, does anybody know how Al Capone got arrested? What it was he was thrown in jail for?
Tax evasion.
Tax evasion. Yeah. Yes, it was. They didn't get him for all the murders. They didn't get him for all the criminal, all the breaking of the kneecaps, all that kind of stuff. They got him on tax evasion. Now, I just recently heard this, so let me bear with me. Elliot Ness had a lawyer. I'm sorry, Al Capone had a lawyer, Easy Eddie, I believe that's what they call it. Mm-hmm. And he was one of his top lawyers, and so he knew everything. Well, Easy Eddie had a son, and you men can probably speak for this. Sometimes I know my husband says that when you have a son, you don't want him to always walk in your footsteps. You want him to be a better man than what you are. So you try to teach your children better. So save yourself and save them from the mistakes that you made. I know as a parent, I have 5 kids. I'm not sure the verdict's still out on that, but anyway. But he had this son, Butch, and he really Easy Eddie, and he raised his son to be a man of honor and integrity. And then he realized, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm teaching him this, and I'm living this life. He was the one that was one of the best in court that testified, really was key in bringing Al Capone down.
Wow.
Fast forward, he gets killed like a year later in a mobster, shot by some other mob or something. But his son grows up, and he actually, you might know this, he actually became an ace fighter pilot, the first one that was ever an ace. Okay, his name is Butch O'Hara, and that's at the O'Hare Airport. His name's from.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
I just think that was the coolest story. So I had to share that because I had just heard that.
Wow.
So you never know. But anyways, I would go. So Elliot Ness cleaned up Chicago, and then Cleveland, who was one of the largest cities with the highest crime rates that there was, recruited him to come to Cleveland because he did such a good job in Chicago. They wanted him to come clean up Cleveland, and they made him, I believe the title was Public Works Director or something like that. And he really, Public Safety Director, I'm sorry. My dad was the Public Works Director at Coudersport for 30 years, that's why I got that in my head. Public Safety Director. And so he was there, and he really implemented a lot of really good programs and really did do a great job cleaning Cleveland up. And he thought, well, I'll run for mayor, and it didn't work. There was a more popular man, because so many times when you're doing good, people don't see what you're doing. Anyway, and he wasn't famous for the Al Capone thing at this point in his life. So he ran for mayor, didn't work, and now he's unemployed, worked for a variety of places. Diebold Safes were one of the places he worked. In the meantime, there's a place here in Coudersport that they're starting to open called the Northridge Printing Company. And Northridge was really hoping to become a big employer in this area, really bring economy to the area, and they figured it was a good place to do it. Probably wages weren't as high as what would be in the cities, and they were looking for a name. And one of the men named Elliot Ness recruited him. That's how he ended up in Coudersport. So that's why we have the Elliot Ness Museum, because Elliot Ness was on board, was presiding, and his office was right upstairs. So when this building became available, Mr. Steve Green, the man that had the vision for this place, we had a few years ago started the Elliot Ness Festival, which is the third week of July. It's fascinating. Have you been to it?
No.
Yeah.
Well, supposed to be here this year, but
It's amazing. I have 8 grandsons, and a variety of time. They go from 18 months to 22 years old. So, like, when the Elliot Ness Fest was here, I drug half a dozen of the teenagers with me, and they're like, oh, Graham, this is so... They're thinking it's boring, it's history, we don't want to do this. They came downtown with me. Well, little did they know, there was going to be shootouts in the street. There was going to be people hauled off to jail. There was raids on the cream and sugar down the street. It was fascinating. They also hold, they open the courthouse on Sunday, and they have the trial there.
wow.
They have 2 seatings of the trial. It is ticketed. You do have to buy tickets. And they try to follow the transcript as close as can be. There's actors that play, Elliot Ness, Al Capone. It's fascinating.
And when is that?
The third weekend in July.
Yeah, it'll be this year too.
Yes, correct. Wow.
Awesome.
There are cars everywhere. The town, so many of the locals dress up in the
transforms.
20s and 30s. It's fun.
It's a step back in
Just
time, right?
fun. Yes,
This
it's
is
a lot
what
of
we
fun.
heard.
So when you're walking around looking at our pictures and our displays, you're going to see many of the color pictures intermingled with the black and whites.
They're your
Most
pictures.
of the color pictures are from here, from our first Elliot Ness Festival. And it just kind of shows you some of the fun that happens. And it fills our wall spaces, and it promotes the Elliot Ness Fest.
Yeah.
So, want to get that out. Okay. The other thing I wanted to tell you, these are handouts. I would take them on your way out so you don't have to carry them around, because if you pick them up now, I'm going to pick them up after you leave. Oh, they forgot them. So, I call these Who Was Elliot Ness, 3 chapters in the life of Elliot Ness, why Coudersport, and the Untouchables started here. They're like the cliff notes of his life. But if you really want to read, we have an author here in town. His name is Paul Heimel. And Paul is... like anything you want to know about Elliot Ness, he knows. The History Channel has even brought him on because he is such a. The People magazine called him the Dean of Elliot Ness. So he does have the untold stories. He has books that I do have available here that you can purchase. If you really want to go in depth, very easy reading. Very easy reading. So just to let you know. The other thing is we have a theater in the back. It's fun to watch some of the clips. They're not real long. There's a variety of them. But it lies to you. It tells you you can get in the cars for photo ops. We had to change the rules because it just wasn't fair to these old cars. So you are welcome to look at them, but please don't open doors and get into them. There are a few great places for photo ops, and I'm going to show you them as we walk around. Another thing I need to tell you is we have a guest book, and I ask you, please, 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 the guest book is right over here. Please fill it out and put everybody's names. It shows Steve that I was doing my job, so he doesn't fire me. I'm a volunteer, he's not going to fire me. But it makes me look good, like, because he forgets to have people sign it, and then I want to anyway, so, and that's right over here. And of course, we do not charge an admission fee, but we do have a donation jug right next to the guest book if you wish to make a donation.
I have a question. Maybe I missed it because I've been on the go since 7 a.m. I'm tired.
Yeah.
The business that he came here to work for, was that something that did identifying fraudulent checks and so on?
What they did, they were putting a watermark.
Oh.
Really, they were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
But he had a kind of unscrupulous business partner who really was probably skimming the money out of the business. So they did end up going bankrupt. But the funny thing is the company turned into just a printing company, and it's now called TC Specialties, and it's still down the road, right where it started. So TC Specialties is still in business. Yeah. It's just a printing. I also didn't tell you, Elliot Ness, the house that he and his wife and son lived in, you can look right through here. There's a lot of trees, but let's see. If you see on the hood of the sheriff's car, if you come this way and look way back there, you can see a house with it's real light green with like a darker sage green trim. That's the house that he lived in.
Oh, wow.
It's behind the bank over there. So, and now one of our pediatricians, her and her husband, well, one of the Regas boys actually bought it and restored it. So, and they were from Philadelphia. So,
cool.
So let's see, we got that, and we also have a restroom in the back. I have water and sodas if anybody's interested, or coffee. Please feel free. Again, it's Shelly. You can ask me. And what I'm going to do now is show you a few of my favorite exhibits, and then
private tour. Are we open or no?
Well, come on in. I not return anybody away.
Great.
You know.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I'm giving a brief tour.
Okay.
And you're welcome to join in with us. I'm not going to go over all the stuff that I went through with them. So
no, that's fine.
We're just going to move around. But I will ask you, the one thing I will ask you is there is a guest book around the corner. And I would like you to sign the guest book. It just shows Steve that I did my job and I recruited more people off the street.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
He is out working at his place. If you know him. So.
Well, I've been here before. This gentleman hasn't.
Well, I'm Shelly, so.
Okay.
And, so.
I'm worst case scenario, we can look through the window, but this is a lot better.
Well, so what I'm going to do is I will just show everybody a few of my favorite exhibits, and then I will let you loose. How's that? All right. Come on. Of course, for my career lifetime has been as a secretary, so I gravitated towards this because this is a recreation of what they think his desk, if you look at the picture right there, of what his desk probably looked like when he was working in Chicago. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to tell, I can't even believe this, Coudersport. We all know Elliot Ness from the Untouchables. Well, maybe not the younger kids, but, how many have seen the Untouchables, or at least the movie? Well, the Untouchables was written by Elliot Ness and Oscar Fraley, and most of that writing was all done either in the office right upstairs where Elliot Ness's office was, or across the street in the Crittenden Hotel. Wow. They spent a lot of time at the Crittenden. My grandmom actually worked at the Crittenden
then?
I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. No, you interrupt. And yes, it's been the Hotel Crittenden, I believe, forever. I've never heard of it ever being anything else. So they hung out a lot in the Hotel Crittenden. My gram worked over there. And she actually went and was cleaning house and cooking for Elliot Ness before my time. She didn't tell me many stories, but she was not a talker like her granddaughter. But so, and if you go to the Crittenden and you ask Chandra, she will show you kind of like where they think that many of the the story was written. Of course, Elliot Ness didn't ever get to see his fame. He died at the age of 54. And there's a last walk where they put together where he figured he walked around Coudersport, went to his house. I believe he was getting a drink of water and collapsed. So, a fairly young man, So, and then shortly after that, his third wife, which I'm thinking, bad business partner, 3 wives. He was smarter in business than he was in his personal life, maybe. But his wife and child moved away. So anyway, this is a really good place. You can sit back here and have and get pictures taken. If you want to have the same pose as Elliot Ness, feel free to sit here. Of course, I love our old cars. The Model T truck. This was put together and donated to the museum. It's not a permanent donation. But what really fascinates me is if you look inside, there's like no room in there. The people had to be really small or they just didn't care about creature comforts when you're riding down a vehicle.
Mommy couldn't survive in that thing. She's worried about a fourth floor.
They believe, they're from the era of which Elliot Ness was.
That is cool.
It was very cool. So,
how do they even find it?
well, if you look on the front, this was found in
That's
the
amazing.
weeds.
Really?
My husband's a weed watcher too.
Wow.
We have been known to rescue, but his are usually tractor things that he rescues from weeds. This was it shows you on the board and the time that the man put into this to restore it from that rusty piece of metal that people wouldn't even know what it was.
Oh wow.
This is just fascinating.
That is cool. 25 Model T. Southern New York retreat from a field last year. 25 model. Wow. Barely an engine and a frame.
So we'll just come back here and
Wow.
we'll come back here and here's another really good photo op. You are welcome to come to jail.
Oh, it's a jail.
It's a jail. You can open right up, lock yourself in there. If anybody wants, I'll be happy to take your picture, send it to your family and friends, ask for bail money.
Hey, Luke, get in jail.
Yeah. If you get bail money, 10% of your bail comes to the Elliot Ness Museum as a donation. So.
Now, what's the story behind this hot rod?
It's just from the time that Elliot Ness would have been in Coudersport, you would have seen this type of car on the streets.
Wow.
And it's been restored and put in here.
Wow. Beautiful. Looks like it was a police car at one time. The searchlight. See the searchlight?
Yeah, I do see that. Yeah.
And that wasn't factory on, I believe, these cars. It's a Hudson. So that actually might be the wrong color paint. That'd be cool if you could really figure that out. Trace the VIN number on it, maybe, because that definitely, and it's got that look.
It does have that.
Don't that have that look? Yeah.
We have seats in here. People they'll sit down sometimes and just work on a crossword puzzle or play a game of backgammon. Or no, that I guess. That,
Are we playing for money here or what?
Poker. Yep.
$5 a hand.
So this building originally.
Here, get in.
You get in?
Yeah, get in. Yeah, go to the hokey.
We're going to go there next.
Go to the hokey.
Go ahead, get in with them.
I'm good. I don't need to go to the hokey.
It's like rattle those bars, beg to be let out. There you go.
Now scream, let me out. Or no, can I get a phone call?
Yep, I got the phone right here.
You want me to jump for a second?
There you go. Right there's the phone.
So what's in there?
Well,
You're hiding that. You're saving it.
I'm going to tell you this right now.
Oh,
this
no.
building was originally, this part of the building, this half, because this was 2 storefronts that they took down. While I was growing up, it was a hardware store. All my life, it's been a hardware store. And then it closed. Then it opened up as a fastener, I believe. And then it closed again, was empty. Well, Mr. Green had got many of these vehicles to put in the first Elliot Ness parade, and he wanted to display them somewhere. So he rented this building. It was empty at the time. And because it was originally the Harris-Ford garage, there was still a door back here to bring the cars through. Growing up here, I had no clue. And when I first saw these cars in here, I said to my husband, how do you think they got those cars in there? I'm like, so there is. So we, in honor of the 1929 Harris-Ford garage, which is here, we have a little parts department back here.
That's awesome.
We have a 1929 Ford Model A back here.
That's amazing.
Yes. And then we also, in 1929, was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah, that was horrible.
And we have a reenactment of that. We've gone with the kid-friendly concept sketches. So, And they're here, labeled here. And then this tells, I'll get out of the way, about the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which was one of the bloodiest massacres that was going on in the gang wars. So,
wow.
So that is why that's back there. That's the Harris-Ford garage. Like I said, here's.
So this is actually what the scene most likely looked like at the massacre.
Right.
It's got bullet holes in the wall. Wow.
Oh, I love that.
Here's the picture of the actual.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So you guys are, wow.
So we tried very hard to.
That's incredible.
That is cool.
Yeah, isn't that
It's almost eerie in a sense.
It is almost.
Oh, they backed him up right there.
Well, they dressed like police officers, and it was competition.
Right there. Yep.
Ah, yep. Oh, wow.
Many of our photos have been purchased or reprinted. There's one here.
That's horrific.
We have museum fans throughout the nation because this is the only Elliot Ness museum that there is.
St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Pictures or send us things that they've found.
And they modeled it almost exactly. That's eerie. It's kind of spooky if you think about it. Just standing there looking, like, wow. Horrible. Those guys didn't have a chance. Wow. That's crazy. Hand was up. That's crazy.
He says they're not coming out. They're all operational. They just drain the gas tanks and take it out.
Are they owned by the museum?
They're owned by Mr. Brother. Now, let me tell you guys about the safe. This safe has been in this building, they figure, since 1880 when the building was constructed.
1880?
Yep, they believe it's been here all this time.
So,
and
Elliot,
the combination has been lost.
so they don't know how to open it.
We do not know.
Is there anything in it?
We do not know that. Therefore, we welcome people. There's a stethoscope here, and you can go in and clean the ears off in the bathroom. We welcome anybody. If you look here, it's unknown what Steve says. It's unknown what treasures, and anybody that finds something in there, he says it's there.
So if you open that up and there's $1.5 million in cash, it's all mine.
I'm just telling you.
All of a sudden, a donation is not going to do it.
Yeah. But anyway, so we have a lot of people that play with this, trying to.
Nobody can get it, huh?
No one at this point.
That's a heck of a challenge.
We did have a man. We had a man. He's an actor from the popular in the 70s and 80s. And I apologize. He was like a sub actor. I can't even remember. But he and his friend came here last week, and they brought dynamite and a Tommy gun to open it. But the thing was, it was printed on paper. They just were holding them, but it was kind of a lot of fun. So
wow,
it's a great photo.
It is a great photo of Coudersport taken off.
Now is that the Hotel Crittenden?
I'm going to guess this Dutch Hill. Yes.
Okay.
Crittenden had, even in my lifetime, they had these
covered porch
balconies. Yeah, the balcony and covered porch. I remember as a little girl coming up and deer and bear hanging up at hunting season. We can always tell when people had a good first day by how many deer were.
So this is your building right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's our building.
Has anybody else tried like significant numbers, like his birth date and stuff like that?
Well, because this is just from his era. This has been in this building So there isn't
Okay.
anything that really was tied into him except the time frame. So yeah. So that's one of our fun displays here.
Look, he's going for it. Go for it. Go do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And look, go get me my dynamite.
Yeah. So,
That's cool.
and back here, like I said, there's displays just everywhere. You guys seeing everything that you want to see?
That is cool. I love that. Look at that.
Yeah. Yep. It's just amazing. It really is.
Orange and blue. These festival pictures are very
Yes.
intriguing.
Yep. They sure are. We have a great photographer, and so we're gonna be working on this. Back here, of course, is our theater, but in these cabinets are many exhibits.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And that are tied into either the era that he was here, or into the Coudersport. Now, a lot of people don't realize Desi Lou, Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, the productions were the ones that put on the Untouchables. And I want you to know, you cannot find them to stream. I was gonna stream one day. I was just home doing nothing. I thought, well, I'll binge watch the Untouchables, and yeah, it's not on any streaming service that I could find. I think I could buy the DVDs for a very expensive price that I wasn't worth doing. So, but there's different things through here that I'll tell you.
Is that a real Tommy gun back there?
That's awesome.
Oh! It's from the personal collection of Ed Sesmick. He owns the Susquehanna Lodge, and he has loaned it to us. Just watch this horse a little.
Oh, is that nice?
That's cool.
He comes in regularly and oils it and cleans it up and keeps it.
And those are 44 caliber right there.
Keeps
That's a
it
big
in
slug.
great condition. Then we have the screenplays over there for the Untouchables back there in the cabinet behind the paper that's been loaned to us. This is one of my favorites right here. The Coudersport movie theater just down the road. They have this curtain in there, and that's been in there forever and ever and ever. There's just a little story about the curtain. But,
Oh my God.
44 cal, that's a big slug.
this tells you a little bit more about his business. His business venture from the Northridge Development Corporation. A little bit of that.
That's cool.
I just realized. Excuse me, I gotta take this. My daughter-in-law is overdue. This is her. Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Somebody messes with me. I'm gonna mess your head.
Yeah, I'm doing them because the M4. I only answered hoping you could tell me your water broke. No, come on in. I didn't even see it. Oh. Yeah, it's fine. Go on out. Bill's there and Jeremiah is there. Alright, talk to you later. She just shouldn't be calling me unless she's in labor, sorry. So, normally I do not do that. No. His grandchild is 9, but I just drove by and saw him.
kid, I used it mainly to feed misinformation back to Capone. And one day the kid asked to see me alone. He told me that Capone, through Treasurer Jake Guzik, had asked him to make a delivery. He put an envelope in my hand.
This is what an Italian restaurant would look like in the 20s. This place is really cool. Now, some of you are watching, some aren't watching. This is going to be a really cool film to watch later. But this is what a restaurant would look like back in the 20s when they were gangsters. Soup with the gangsters. That's pretty cool, huh? That's the guy who played Al Capone last year, I believe, right here in the town. That's cool. There's the monster himself. There's Ness. That's cool. Because of his integrity, he couldn't be bought. Everybody was easily bought back then. These are the actors from last year. That guy played Capone, it looks like. This is what the clothing was like back then. This is what they look like. That's how they dressed. She's got a little bottle of whiskey in her hand. 34 Pierce Arrow. Look at this thing. Oh man, this car's gorgeous.
Goes to Elliot. Thank you so much. Nice talking to you. Thanks again.
Yep, take care. Thanks for coming in.
Have a good
Hey, Luke.
Yes, you also.
Luke, come here. Put your name here so you get lots of names.
The old Hickory. Yeah. Down the road.
Look at this thing, man. These cars were huge. Wow.
They are, which is so nice to see that being restored. Yeah. There was a bar room in the basement of that for years and years and years.
The back seat, man. That's big. That's amazing, that car. These are some actors from last year, actresses. Yeah, that's a big deal. You guys get an opportunity. Coudersport, Pennsylvania, July 15, 16, 17. He said they have shootouts in the town and everything. Look at this. I love it. A modern Mustang and a modern.
In a second, I want to show you my one of my favorite exhibits.
Yes.
And that would be the still.
The
This
still.
still was donated by a local family, the Gaversack family, and it's on loan, courtesy them. And I know this family. I grew up with this family, and I bet that this has been used in my lifetime. I'm just saying, this is. But I just think this is. I've always seen them on TV.
Yeah.
I've always heard the stills, and I always thought they were so complicated looking. But if you look at this, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
That they could just put it together, and so that this was a Prohibition era still. And
Very portable, too.
Yes, so that they could hide it if necessary. The funny thing is this comes from the Gaversack family, and the Gaversack family's one of the kids, Bobby Rossman, his mom was a Gaversack, and he and his wife owned Cream and Sugar. So that's where they had one of the raids during the Elliot Ness Fest.
That's awesome. That's appropriate.
For bootlegging. So
Yeah.
they went in, poor Bobby, he got hauled out and taken to the paddy wagon and everything. So
That's awesome.
So that's why we put this picture up here of the raid of the Cream and Sugar.
And he is guilty because you got the evidence right
Well,
there.
I'm just saying.
He's busted. There ain't no way around that one.
Yeah,
Jiminy crickets.
it is.
That's cool. And this is how they hauled the moonshine right here, huh?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. What's the story behind this truck?
Well, they found this truck and they got it restored, and
They find this one in the weeds too.
No, I'm not sure where he purchased this one actually, but he was just telling me how
This is big money.
it took him forever to find these these barrels, the authentic barrels, and to get them here and to put them.
They're authentic.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Because I know a lot of the Treasury agents took axes to them in the movie. Remember? They busted them. Federal agents would always break them so they couldn't get new ones.
They're barrels, so.
That's cool stuff.
And
that's amazing.
it is. The cars are absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they really make it.
They do. And
and I'm sure as time goes on, he collects more and more and more, right?
Well, and what he did was he actually bought this building in January. He had been leasing it, but it has grown. This museum.
Can they get funding? Can he get funding through the state because of the history? Or
at this point, he's just only funded by donations and by their personal. So we're hoping
to get some kind of grants or something. Yeah.
501c3, so that they're tax deductible.
Hopefully you can, because I mean, this is a big piece of history. This is no.
Yeah. And especially with him buying it.
Yeah.
He was leasing it, but they put the building up for sale, and he was afraid if someone bought it, they'd have to
move. Yeah.
Where else would you put something like this, especially with Elliot Ness in
right.
office upstairs?
Now, is that still an office, or is it somebody's?
They're apartments now upstairs.
I heard they were themed.
Yeah.
Somebody told me they're going to. They do like an Al Capone apartment and Elliot.
Suites, yeah,
the suites.
Each suite. They're just they're named, but
that's cool.
The people have their own thing, you know.
Yeah, that's sharp.
You walk in and
I wouldn't want to stay in the Capone suite. I'd be afraid I'd get whacked.
And over here for the kids, there's a seal. The newspaper that's been in the area right now is Leader Enterprise, but it started out as the Potter Enterprise back in the day when Elliot was here with the Northridge Industrial. And we've been given the original seal of the Enterprise.
Really?
So you can, people like to come over here. There's paper here, and you can just push down and take a little memento with you.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And that's the original seal of the Enterprise.
That's cool. Oh, well, look.
Enterprise.
Yeah, there's one already done.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That is cool. Huh.
So, yeah.
That's sharp. That's neat.
That's there for
coolness. I really like that scene in the back. It's eerie.
Yeah.
It's really eerie. And they don't let people wander around back there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of good.
Well, yeah, we have to because the floor's so uneven.
But you can always use it as a respect issue as well. We're respecting the dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Yeah. That is cool. That is super, super cool. So they changed the dates this year? Or is it always 15, 16?
It's always the third weekend of July.
Okay. Okay, whatever days that falls on. Okay. So hopefully you guys can get some funding.
Did you look at the happy?
No.
I want to do it.
Here's the original seal of Elliot Ness.
What?
That's the original seal.
What do you mean?
You go over and make them. This is what he used to put on his letters and stuff. What do you want to say?
This is his.
I know. I really wanted to go this year, but we'll go next year.
No, this is the walk he took before he died.
Oh.
He went to his first meeting.
He went. You can walk that. That's the path of the walk. You can walk.
We can do that after this.
Yeah, look. He went from his office to a restaurant, then the Hickory Tavern, then the Allegheny River, then his second.
What was he doing at the river?
So then, after he went to his first office, he went to his second office, which is now demolished. Then he Hotel Crittenden. Then he went to the Ralph's Drugstore. Porter County Enterprise, then his third office. So only the first and third office is still surviving.
Wow.
The second one got destroyed. Mackey's Restaurant, then he went to the liquor store, then he went to funeral home, and then he went to Ness's rental home, and then First Persian Church, and then he went back to his house, got a glass of water, and just collapsed.
Elliot Ness' last walk. It looks like he might have enjoyed the. Looks like according to the walk, it looks like he enjoyed the sauce. He hit a bar and then he had a liquor store.
Yeah, I believe that.
And that causes heart conditions.
I believe that may have contributed.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He might have had a couple of... Weird he hit a funeral home.
The funeral home.
Was he having a premonition?
No, it's right next door to his house, the funeral home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe he just stopped and chatted with the neighbor.
That's possible. This is his last walk before he died.
Ooh.
And you go in order here, and if you look, he stopped at the funeral home, liquor store, funeral home, and then he went home and died.
Jeez.
So did he plan his own funeral?
Like I said, the funeral home's directly across the street, and the funeral director has always lived there.
Didn't know, was he buried in Coudersport?
No, he's actually buried. He was taken back and was buried in Cleveland.
Was the funeral here or funeral there?
I believe it was there.
Wow. How old was he?
54.
It was the sauce. The stress of chasing him and all the sauce.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Either that or someone found him and poisoned him.
I like your twist.
So
I like her twist.
I
Yeah.
had someone here say that. I'm like, well, I never heard of it. We could start it.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll bring him in.
Yeah.
The Mafia got him anyway.
He wanted to get into the FBI, right? But Hoover blocked him. Or
There's a lot of I'm still learning. I am actually reading Paul's books to try and I haven't quite got to the blocking yet. So, if that's the case, there's a lot of stories out there that you find are stories.
Yeah. Well, you just never know.
Like I just made up, But
It's possible.
yeah,
Somebody could have whacked him.
We have to find Coudersport.
Yeah, that's crazy. Cool stuff. Well, there you have it, kids. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for anybody that decided to hang out and watch. And just one more time, everybody knows about Al Capone. Everybody knows about Prohibition. Everybody's joining us now. That's what this museum is about. Elliot Ness was a big part of this town. And Elliot Ness was... Anybody tell me about this car, 1950 Hudson Commodore Convertible, were they considered police cars? And the reason I asked that question is, you take a look, it's got the spotlight on it, and man, this thing looks like a police car.
I pressed really hard and I got a really good one.
Nice. Good, cool. That's a cool souvenir, right? So
The story behind this is, being an avid reader, such as
yeah.
I was, in addition to the Nancy Drew books, there was also the Judy Bolton mysteries. Judy Bolton was author Margaret Sutton, who was Rachel Beebe and she was from this area. And she's actually from the house that Steve Green lives in now.
oh my God!
So he has the collection. And the
Famous people of Coudersport.
this one right here, the Black Cat's Clue. If you look, there's a staircase right there, and this is the staircase.
Oh,
it was
geez.
depicted the staircase in his home, and that's what it looks like currently.
Oh,
the
wow.
The pond that was referred to as the pond by his house.
Oh, wow.
That's it. And then the forbidden chest is still in the house, and what was his mother's bedroom. She's passed away now.
Yeah.
His mom has, but so it's kind of, and then it kind of ties it together with the era.
Yeah, definitely.
The era thing, so.
They should actually make that, put real mannequins in there. Really gore it up, but 18 only.
Yeah.
And believe me, I guarantee you people love that kind of stuff. They would flock for that. Really get some lifelike mannequins and really, because you're already halfway there. You're about 75% as real as you're going to get. That would be, boom, right there. And
they use the local artists to draw.
Restricted viewing only and for adults and keep the children. And people will be lining up for blocks to see that. Yeah, because people love that. They love the gore. They eat it up today.
I personally think you should get an old clawfoot tub in here with a mannequin.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
The gin, the girl.
Yeah. Well, I guess as time goes on, he'll continue to add and add and add.
This was an empty building in September 2019. So
he's done a heck of a job.
September 2019 to now.
That's amazing. I'm going to get one more look at your old garage here because this is cool.
That is cool.
And like I said, this would be the highlight of the tour. You could bring people here, and I think it would be cool. I love the bullet casings, the holes in the wall.
People actually actually died back there?
Yeah, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. This really, really happened. Not in this building, not here, not in this actual building. Somewhere in Chicago it happened. But Bugsy Moran and Al Capone were competing for territory, and Bugsy's men stopped Capone's men in a garage exactly like this and said they were pleased to arrest them and turned them all around to handcuff them, and instead of handcuff them, they shot him in the back and executed him. Al Capone's men. They never really pinned him for it. They never pinned him to
So
it.
they killed Al Capone.
No, these are all Bugsy Moran's men. Bugsy and Al were fighting over territory. So on St. Valentine's Day, he sent his men. Al Capone sent his guys to trick these guys into thinking they were police and going to arrest them. Turned them around to arrest them and decided to execute them. Yeah.
That's the shot.
Yeah, that's
right
the actual scene right there. They were pretending to be police. And that was Al Capone's men. And that was Bugsy's men, and this was Al Capone's men. And that's the outcome.
This is the coolest part. Besides the cars, this is the coolest.
Yeah, absolutely. And this really would bring people here just to see that. If they could figure out to do something with that scene there.
Yeah.
Because that right there will run your blood cold. To think about what that men went through at that particular time, thinking, okay, we're going to go to jail, and then they hear the first shot. Because somebody heard a couple shots before they got hit.
Yeah. And then you're just...
And they got him with 44 slugs. And what is that, 100 rounds a minute or something like that?
Something like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So, this is definitely a highlight. Eerie. They need a 1920s toilet. They got the sink and the cabinet, but the toilet.
I have piano of my own. I do not play, but I have a son that plays.
Oh, wow. Underground Railroad here. In case you're wondering, this bathroom and trap door were not components of nor entry to the famed Underground Railroad. That tricked me. That's too funny. Wow, that's neat. Yeah, run that by him. See what he says. Restricted viewing and get some real-life mannequins back there. And, man, I'll tell you, people love gore. I'll tell you, if they knew that, and they would come running for it. Yeah, and just save that for last. Adults only. And you'll have a line out the door.
That should be reenacted. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be awesome. Horrifying.
Horrifying, yeah.
Horrifying, but people would eat it up. The way the world is today, they would love it.
We don't even have
He was an evil, evil man. October 17, 1931, he was convicted. Sent to U.S.
Al
Pennsylvania.
Capone or Elliot Ness?
Yeah, he was nasty. This guy's the actor.
Is he evil or Elliot?
Yeah, that's Al Capone. He was evil. Elliot Ness was the only one that could arrest him.
He got him for tax evasion, not for
Yep.
his other crimes.
Yep.
Right?
There's one of his mugshots. Yeah, he was not a nice person. Did you ever see the movie The Untouchables?
So Elliot Ness came here.
I got it
Got
now.
him. No, I've never seen The Untouchables.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed your visit at the Elliot Ness Museum in Coudersport, Pennsylvania. And if you want to take an awesome trip for a weekend, come on up here to Coudersport, Pennsylvania. Real easy to find, 5 hours from Philadelphia. And July 14, 15, 16, 17 this year, they will have the actual town turned into the 1920s and the roaring 20s and the 30s. And you will see Al Capone running the streets. You'll see police cars. You'll see shootouts. They do all kinds of acting up here. So this is definitely something you want to put on your to-do list. I'm not going to make it this year. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to try and get here next year. So 16, 17, 18. There's the dates. July 16, 17, 18.
No, it is 5th. Dad, you will.
All right, 15, 16, 17 is the dates. And like I said, this is something you definitely want to put on your to-do list. Because it's not just a museum you're going to get to see. There's going to be street scenes. There's going to be acting. There's going to be courthouses. There's going to be a shootout. There's going to be car chases. There's going to be the actual Untouchables are going to be here. The Al Capone gang is going to actually be here. So, to-do list all the way. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Have a great day.